The Republican National Committee thinks differently, launching a new petition in support of the tech upstart. RNC Chairman Reince Priebus penned an op-ed today calling Uber opposition anti-innovation. And joining us this morning is Sean Spicer, Communications Director for the RNC. He joins us this morning from Chicago. Sean, good morning to you.
Good morning, Carl. Thanks for having me.
This story seems to be evolving from Illinois itself, where you are. What's the background here?
Well, the background is we're here having our summer meeting, and you've got a race in Illinois between Governor Pat Quinn, the incumbent, and businessman Bruce Rauner. And Bruce Rauner has come out on the side of innovation and Uber, and we wanted to highlight that this is really, I'm a huge fan, and most of us are a huge fan of Uber, but this isn't just about Uber. It's about Lyft, Airbnb, eBay, Amazon. It's about innovation. It's about saying that Washington and state capitals and government should get out of the way of innovation and job creation, let the market decide what goes on. And as you were hearing from the taxi cab commissioner from your interview a month ago, it's all about, for them, getting in the middle. And nothing good comes of politicians getting in the middle of the free enterprise system.
So, Sean, there are a lot of issues here. You mentioned Airbnb. There are all sorts of these startups who are attacking the way that things have traditionally been done. But there are safety issues. There are insurance issues. Are you guys just coming out and saying you're generally in favor of these kinds of startups? Or are you laying out a framework for how this actually ought to work so that we get innovation, but we also get consumer protection?
Well, I think clearly we're not overlooking consumer protection. That's important. We all recognize that, whether it's insurance or other safety measures that are to ensure the consumers don't get harmed and the public doesn't get harmed. But at the same time, that's not what's happening. And what you saw, whether it was in Virginia or here in Illinois, is the unions coming out in strong opposition to it actually occurring. There's a difference between protecting the consumers and blocking innovation. And what's happening is, again, you're seeing government get in the middle of innovation, not helping it along, but trying to block it. It's a top-down bureaucratic system versus a bottom-up system where people and innovation and free enterprise succeed with the help of government to ensure that the public's not harmed. That's a vastly different model than what we're seeing throughout this country. Again, whether it's Airbnb or eBay or Amazon, the consumers are demanding a different model, one that's not run by the government, and we're in support of that innovation.
Sean, what is it about Uber as a company individually? Because Airbnb, a company that we were just talking about, could also be looking at this and saying, hey, we're getting opposition in various cities too. Hey, we're innovating in this market as well. Why is the RNC choosing Uber here and not other companies when you could be making the same point?
Right, and as I mentioned earlier, I don't think this is, we're in Illinois right now, and this is the fight that's here. So obviously it's the most relevant for the people of Illinois where we are at the time. But as you pointed out, it's not just about Uber, it's about Lyft, it's about Airbnb, it's about eBay and Amazon, and supporting a culture of innovation and free enterprise as opposed to a culture of government, which is what we're seeing largely from people like Pat Quinn here in Illinois, who are blocking and stifling that kind of innovation under the guise of regulation.
We know Uber has been politically active. They got many fires to fight in a lot of different cities, not just in this country, but all around the world. Is all of this a response to the upcoming midterms, trying to find some issue that has widespread popularity and make it work for the GOP?
Well, it's partly about that, absolutely. I think what we want to communicate to people who are going to or would consider voting in the upcoming election that the Republicans are on the side of free enterprise. They're on the idea of an open economy, not a closed economy, but about growing the pie, not closed pie. We're on the side of innovation and free enterprise, not government regulation. And there is, as I pointed out, I want to be very clear that there's a difference between protecting consumers and stifling innovation. And that's what we're trying to get out there, is that this is what you're seeing over and over again, whether it's the music industry or the insurance industry. More and more, it's consumers demanding something, and people and innovators and job creators trying to figure out how to solve that demand.
And so what is that difference? So how do you protect consumers without regulating?
Well, it's sort of one of those things that you know it when you see it. And what you're seeing in Illinois and New York and other cities is unions coming in and saying that we're against this model occurring. They're not talking about innovation. In the case of Uber, they've always been willing to talk about consumer safety, insurance protections and things like that. That's fine, and I think, again, there's a line between that and actually stifling growth and innovation in the industry. And so whether it's the hotel industry, the hospitality industry, the travel industry, or ride sharing, that's what I think you can come down on the side of just being supportive of innovation, or you're coming down clearly on the side of trying to block it under the guise of more regulation.
Yeah, I think it's the issue of unions that is getting some pickup here, Sean, but we hope you'll come back and talk about it more at a later date. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Sean Spicer joining us, Communications Director for the RNC. Also want to thank Henry for being here this morning.